Hello and a cautiously happy 2026, my beautiful skating people. We are barely 2 weeks in and 2026 is a little bit of a jump scare, but we had a bright spot of joy in Gatineau, Quebec, where Skate Canada named the Olympic team that will be heading to Milano Cortina at the end of the Canadian National Championship, where we saw Steven Gogolev, Leah Pereira, and Trent Michaud claim their first national titles. Madeline Skizis climbs from 4th place after the short program to claim her 4th national title, and veterans Piper Gillis and Paul Proyer finish their rumored final Canadian championships with a new record and their 5th national title. Let's bring in the Governor General of GOE's, Kaetlyn Osmond. Kaetlyn,
Hello,
Happy New Year. How are you?
Happy New Year. Good, how are you?
You know. Same as different day. But, there is nothing like a Canadian nationals heading into the Olympic Games. The excitement, the tension, the present, the future, the success, and of course, the missteps. You had a front rowish seat. You were commentating the women's event. So what was your general feeling of nationals in Gatineau?
It was incredible. It's some of the best skating that I've seen from Canadians in a number of years. And I commentated for both the junior women and the senior women. So I got to see that development of our women that we have coming up through the depth of what Canada has. And it's really inspiring to see. And I can't wait until the next quadrennial, even though we haven't even gone to the Olympics yet.
Let's get right into this Olympic announcement. Okay, so boom, your Canadian figure skating Olympic team are, drumroll and a Jamaican air horns, please, Caitlin. In the singles event in the men and the women, we have Madeline Skizis and Steven Gogolev. In the pairs, it's Leah Pereira, Trent Michaud, Deanna Stellato-dudek, and Maxime Deschamps. And in the full roster, we got for ice dance, Mary-Jade Loriot, Romain Legac, Zachary Legat, Marjorie Lejoie, Piper Gillis, and of course, Paul Proyer. Initial thoughts, honestly, I think this is the strongest team they could have sent. Not really any surprises here. And I think ultimately, I'm just happy that everyone skated the way they needed to not make this a very controversial decision.
Exactly. It was pretty much set in stone based on how they performed at nationals and their placements there. I think everyone is very deserving of their Olympic spot, and yeah, it was nice and easy.
Yeah, so let's get into what actually happened at the Nationals. But before we get into the Olympic minutia, I want to give a shout out to the synchro teams. Les Supremes took their 3rd consecutive national title in senior, and shout out to Nexus Junior that set a new Canadian record. So let's get it started with the singles event. Shall we do the women, where we had some interesting results and a little bit of a feud.
It was a bit of a feud. If you've paid attention to any social media before the event, you definitely heard the feud between Madeline Skizis and Gabrielle Daleman. Not surprising feud. They're both very determined skaters and very vocal with what they think. So it was just really fun to follow along.
I think that the juxtaposition between the US Nationals that was happening at the same time, where they're like, I love you, Isabeau, I love you, Amber, no, I love you, Alyssa, compared to Madeline, over my dead body will anyone else go, and what did Gabby say? Oh, I'm like a witch, you can't kill me. Which, fair. She's had many, many injuries. But our podium goes as such. Madeline Skizis takes that #1 spot, as we said before. 2nd goes to Gabrielle Daleman, 4 years off of nationals. So happy to see her there. And 3rd, the bronze goes to Min Sol Kwan at her first showing at a Canadian Nationals. I want to start with Min Sol Kwan. She's a Korean transplant who's only 16, so she can't even go to any international event. Plus, she hasn't been released by South Korea, but she came in and actually won the short program. I think one of the only clean short programs in the women's senior event. What did you think of Minsol?
She is so delightful to see, and she does have so much experience. She did make it to the Junior Grand Prix final twice, it representing Korea, and now she's representing Canada. She can compete domestically, obviously, that's why she's there, and they're hoping by next year she'll be able to join the Junior Grand Prix circuit again, representing Canada. So there is a lot of bright future for her, and I just really loved watching her skate. Everything looked so easy, and her performance was so beautiful and effortless. Oh, she's gorgeous.
My only one comment that I did not like the choices of these very famous pieces. Like the singing for the Les Mis. I'm like, who chose this? But that's it. That's my only complaint. I think she's gonna do great things. She wasn't able to keep that #1 spot due to under rotations and some edge calls. But let's talk about Gabrielle Daleman. She's back on the podium after 4 years not being at nationals, surgeries, countless injuries, a myriad of other issues. But she skated very admirably, the strongest that we've seen her in a while.
She did, especially in that short program. She was fully clean, I believe, in that short program. And you could see the reaction she had. She was so proud of that moment. She has had quite a few years of having to overcome a lot of things and really only started training in April last year. So for her to be able to come back, and she said she wanted to show that she could come back stronger, I think she accomplished that even though she didn't reach her goal.
Yeah, I think she should be very, very proud of herself. And I'm sure we're going to see her at the Four Continents Championships. But let's talk about the woman of the hour, the one who will be going to Milano Cortina in a few weeks. Strong words from Maddie in an interview with In the Loop. She said, "Over my dead body," when referring to Gabrielle Daleman's comeback. She respects it, but over her dead body, was anyone going to get that? But you got to back those big words up with a big skate. And in the short program, she committed the cardinal sin of a double jump. No points at all. So her work was cut out for her in the free program, eh?
It was, and I think it was probably the best thing for her in that moment. I hate to say it because you never want to have a mistake, but she hasn't had to battle back that hard in a national competition before. And for her to go out there and show a level of confidence. I saw her on the warm-up, and even on the warm-up, she was holding herself different. Her head was held high, and I find in international, she tends to curl in on herself a little bit more. So it was really nice to see that confidence and determination, and really happy the long program worked out for her so that she lived up to her words.
Yes, virtually clean, just that double axel. That always double axels for her at nationals. I do not know what it is. The first time she won a
I don't
medal,
think she's meant to do a double axel at nationals. We'll just ignore that for the
yeah,
time
we'll just
being.
ignore it. But very, very good. But 2022 Olympics, Beijing, she was pivotal in keeping Canada up in that fourth spot. Should have been bronze given the doping scandal. But do you think she will be as clutch as she will need to be here in Milano Cortina?
She definitely will be. She is the only woman going for Canada, so she has to do the short and long program. And then she has to get ready and do a short and long program all over again in the individual event. So she has to perform the way that she did in the free program here at Nationals. I need to see that fight from her for her to be able to be as beneficial to the team as she possibly can be.
I think she's got to find a random girl at the Olympics and just start beefing with her. Lauren Aki
Exactly.
Gutman, I'm don't know, we're gonna fish you out the water, girl. I don't know, find something. Okay, so let's head into the men's event. Your new national champion, Steven Gogolev. Silver goes to Roman Sadovsky, and bronze goes to Alexa Rakic. Really great to see him back on the podium. He withdrew last year due to illness, and he is getting pretty good at skating. Like, I'm enjoying his programs a lot.
Me too. I've always seen him as someone who, no offense, but I've always just seen him as someone who was there and he could compete and he usually did well, but there wasn't something that caught my attention. And then this year, I'm starting to see a whole new side of him. He's working with Benoit Brichaud in his choreography, and it's really clear that he's pulling out that personality that he does have. And then, of course, the jumps have always been there. The triple axel is always a little funky, but even that's getting better. And to mix that with this new performance quality, he was such a highlight in that free program.
I really like that free program. Not a wallflower anymore for Alexa Rakic, but let's get into Roman Sadovsky, the silver medalist. He was going tete-en-tete with Steven Gogolev this entire season. They really pushed each other, so we were hoping for a battle at nationals. Unfortunately, after the short program, Roman made too many mistakes. He talked about how he really lost confidence in himself, but came back with that free program, which was gorgeous. Just the one mistake on the second quad sow. He had Kurt Browning in tears during the broadcast. But what did you think of Roman's skate? And he's obviously not going to go to the Olympics, but we will see him at Four Continents. And I think this kind of looked like his last nationals, given the reaction, maybe.
Based on his reaction, it very much did look like a last nationals, and who knows if it actually will be. Maybe in the off season when he takes some time off, he'll want to come back for another season. You really never know, but his entire season this year is the best I've seen him perform in a number of years. He's been consistent, he's fought, and that free program at nationals, he looked like he just had a freedom to him, and that's the performance that has left him as national champion in the past. And it is why he was on the 2022 Beijing Olympic team, and it was just phenomenal. And he actually hugged Tracy in the kiss and cry, which I find is so rare.
Yeah, I think he's the one who. I think she's always the one who goes for the hug, and he's always kind of like, yeah, whatever. But yeah, thank you, Roman. If this is your last season, you've been such an incredible skater to watch, and you have definitely moved the needle on Canadian men's figure skating. But I think this man definitely helped him out throughout the season and pushing him, the man of the hour, Steven Gogolev. We're so happy for him. It was like 6 seasons since he burst onto the scene as a little youngster with quads, setting world records, winning the Junior Grand Prix final. It seemed like his powers have left him, or they were just dormant for a little bit, but he has found his groove and has just been growing and growing and growing. And, medal at Finlandia. And these two skates here are 170 in the free program. I think, of course, a little inflated because it is nationals, but I think this begs the question of where he will sit relative to the other men heading to the Olympics and in the world. Especially in that team event. I think he stacks up pretty well, and if he skates the way he's been skating this season, I think it will help Canada, potentially reach that medal position.
It's possible, and with the way that Steven skated at nationals and with the way he's been developing throughout this year, he's been putting himself up more in top ranking potential in the men's event, especially based on the risk of what everyone else is going for. He does have the quads. He is performing. He's smiling. This is a whole new Steven that I haven't seen before, and I saw a post that was a picture of him in 2017 getting his junior national title, and it's been since then. Now in 2018, it's not 2018 at all, it's 2026, and he's getting his senior national title. So that just shows how long he had to fight and grit and deal with injury upon injury, and it's so exciting that it finally all came together on the best possible year that it could.
Yeah, man of very few words, but you can see that his skating has really grown, and he can now trust his body, which is just so important as an athlete. And I can't wait to see what he does in Italy. But let's talk about pairs, where we had such an interesting result. No one expected it, but taking their first national title, Leah Pereira and Trent Michaud with a new PB in the free program, shutting out Diana Stellato-dudek and Maxime Duchamp, who had to settle for silver. Kelly-Anne Lauren and Lucas Etier, who I think probably should have won the free program, were phenomenal, and they actually also beat Stellato-dudek and Duchamp. And they're also the only team to medal on the Grand Prix other than Deanna and Max. It was such a great nationals for them. But let's talk more about the 1 and 2, the ones going to the Olympics. It has been a very inconsistent season for both these teams. Here at nationals, Leah and Trent went back to their gladiator program, which I don't know. I like their mission program, even though I don't really like the mission music itself. I thought it was great. That's Zico.
I really like their gladiator program, so I'm happy they switched back.
Oh, okay. Well, we can't always agree, but I would say that, looking close between them, even though they've had both inconsistent season and Deanna and Max qualified for the Grand Prix final, I will say that Leah and Trent have had a slightly higher trajectory, and this nationals was no different. Deanna and Max, they looked absolutely stellar, especially her in her Oscar de la Renta skating outfits. They did both a dress for the free and the short program. Though she looked good and felt good, maybe next time a little better. So Kaetlyn, I asked you, is this lackluster showing for Deanna and Max going to show even more weakness to their international competitors? Of course, they said they were sick. They're always sick around nationals, January, December, a terrible month for them. But what do they need to do to stay, competitive?
I think they need to go back and reevaluate this free program. The short program's been okay. They've been able to stay relevant in the short program, but that free program seems to be continuously causing problems. And then the more that you don't get to perform well in one program, then it kind of creates like a fear around it or a lack of confidence. And then you try to fight harder, which is what I felt like they did in the free program at nationals, is that they kept trying to fight harder and harder, which actually made it look not work less and less. Yeah. So I think they might need to go back to the drawing board, see if this program is really worth keeping for the Olympics, or would it be better to go back and do something like they did at Worlds the year they won with the Interview with the Vampire, which is an outstanding program for them that brings out their acting capabilities. But I definitely think they need to go back to the drawing board and see, like, okay, this hasn't worked this year. Do we need to reconsider?
And the red Oscar de la Renta dress would work well for Interview with a Vampire. But now let's talk about where the pairs will sit in the team event. The big other countries we got to watch are Japan, America, Georgia, and Italy. And, Canada gets 2 substitutions. The short program for Deanna Max has been gangbusters. Everyone's been loving it. They score very high every time they skate it, even when it's not squeaky clean. So I think it could be, the case could be made that maybe Leah and Trent skate the free program just for a better shot. I don't know. What do you think?
I definitely agree, especially because the option is there. They can't substitute out a man or woman because we only have one of them. So having the option to sub out a pair team, especially with Deanna not being well and dealing with illness this time of year, and knowing that at the Olympics they're gonna have to put in a fight in the individual event also, where it's not long after the team event, so you have to look and see, do they have the energy and consistency to be able to do 4 programs? So I think it would be very beneficial for the team in a whole for them to alternate and do the short program and let Leah and Trent do the free.
I completely agree. But, it's been their dream. Deanna's been through this whole citizenship struggle. So here's what Deanna had to say after receiving her Canadian Olympic jacket.
Well, I have said that when I got here, I was immediately welcomed by everybody. And after I got my Canadian citizenship, I had so many people personally message me and said, we're so happy that you're representing us in Canada. And I've said to come to a new country and to be welcomed and to be accepted, and then to have the citizens cheer for you. It is like the honor of my life to compete on their behalf.
Let's head on to the ice dance, where honestly 1 and 2, not surprising, exactly where we thought. I think the exciting competition was for that 3rd spot, that bronze medal. That was Marie-Jade Loriot and Roman Lagac. They were within striking distance of fourth place Paula Era and Alicia Fabry. It was like barely half a point. So we thought we were gonna have a competition on our hands, but as the free dance scores came up, it was the Cleopatra Egyptian program by Lagac and Loriot that would win out the day. I'm so excited for them. They've made a lot of changes this year. They've competed like 7 times. They've moved from Montreal to train at the satellite of IM with Scott Moyer in London, and it has absolutely paid off.
I completely agree. Their Cleopatra free program, their rhythm dance also, but their Cleopatra program was phenomenal. I love they're so intricate and acrobatic in their lifts and so unique. And I love seeing that in the skating. It was pretty tight after the rhythm dance, and I do believe that Paul and Alicia fought with everything they had, but that Cleopatra program was pretty spectacular.
Yeah, and I think it's going to be really, really well received at the Olympics, especially for people who, are just tuning in to skating every 4 years like most people, and they see this really cool, intriguing program, these high-flying lifts. I think that's going to be well received, and I hope it even pushes them even higher. Congratulations to them. I know it's been a tough go being on and off the podium, so congratulations. And of course, the silver medalists will be going, and that's Zachary Lega and Marjorie Lejoie. Caitlin, they've struggled to push through past those top teams. They've been as high as 6 at Worlds. Where do you think they will fare heading into Milano Cortina?
I hope that they perform the way that they did at Nationals. They're such a talented team. The rhythm dance is such a party, but the free dance for me is something so spectacular. White Crow is magical and shows what they're really capable of and how strong they are as a team. This is going to be still a stepping stone for them, but I think they have a bigger, brighter future ahead in the next 4 years also.
Absolutely, and it's always about setting yourself up for that next quadrennial, because there will be a lot of retirements, and that is the time that they can absolutely strike and hit those podiums. But let's talk about Piper and Paul. They've had a good season relative to their skating. Judging controversies throughout, especially the Grand Prix final, where they're overtaken by Lila Fear and Lewis Gibson of Great Britain. But what I saw at Nationals, they made really significant changes to the choreography in their short dance, in their rhythm dance. Oh my gosh, hasn't been called a short dance in forever. In their rhythm dance and their free dance, especially in the choreographed sequence where they had that kind of splat on her face. They finally took it out, and they scored a record 231. But will these changes translate to the medal success they want, especially in the individual event?
I really hope so. I think it's a step in the right direction. What I do find at Nationals, they knew that they were going to win that spot. They knew that Nationals is their strong suit, and you could see that level of confidence, especially in the free dance. Watching them move across the ice, I forgot that I was actually watching a competition. I forgot that there was elements being executed because it was just so phenomenal, but they skated with a different ease. I didn't see that earlier this season. Like, yes, there was the judging controversy, but you could see that they were looking a little bit more impacted by what everything was going on around them, whereas at Nationals, they were able to skate with that confidence and knowledge that it was really their top spot to lose. So I hope they can carry that through and enjoy an Olympic Games where they're not concerned about what's happening around them and can just do what they do best, which is skate and perform and emote these gorgeous pieces of music that not many people can skate to as they do.
I completely agree. I think they just gotta go for. They've always been the type of team to trust their process and not, change because people have told them to change. But they've taken a lot of feedback this year. I think that I have hope. That they are going to do what they need to do, and then they'll be on that podium in the individual. But let's talk about the team event. I'm assuming that they're going to do both, but what do you think?
I'm assuming they'll do both also.
Yeah.
I don't I have no idea what Ski Canada's going to decide. They
Yeah.
have the option again to sub out in the dance again
Yeah.
because they have two subs that they can have. I think it'll depend on looking at the schedule, looking at how everyone is feeling, and deciding overall what the best solution is going to be. But internationally, Piper and Paul have always had higher success, so I feel like it will be them doing both programs.
I do agree that they'll probably skate all 4 programs, but it would be interesting to see because France isn't really a lock for a medal. So I wonder if Guillaume and Laurence will just forego the team event. So I think that will make a decision on what Skate Canada will do. But there were so many spectacular skates at nationals. I think the depth in the women's event, in junior and senior, the young ones there's so much there to foster. And I really hope Skate Canada takes the time, the energy, the resources to help foster and nurture all of these skaters that we want to see because we're in a rebuilding phase. But that being said, what was your yes ma'am of Canadian Nationals 2026?
I want to say all of junior and senior women. I was so impressed by them all, but I'm going to give a special shout out to Madeline Skizas. Not only did she live up to her words and her fight in the free program, but it was so good to see her put in that fight. I feel like it was lacking. That fire behind her has been missing for the past number of years, and it was so good to finally see that again and show off what she is capable of. And please, will she keep that fire for the Olympics?
I 100% agree, and I low-key, no, I absolutely, no, high-key love the fire of over my dead body, I'm a witch, I'll kill you, girl, I'll stab you. Don't do that. No violence, none. But it's fun to see. It is fun to see, especially from Canadians. My yes, ma'am, has to go to Leah Cho, who won her second junior title. She is only 13. She was not able to compete on the junior circuit. Next year will be the first time that she'll be able to compete on the Junior Grand Prix circuit. Her skating, her confidence, the way that she can emote music is absolutely otherworldly. The Scheherazade program, her free done by Jeffrey Buttle, is a must watch. And when the scores came up, she would have been second to Maddie by only less than 1 point. So
less than half a point.
Less than half a point.
Yep.
There you go, Leah Cho, the future.
Also, she does have more in her arsenal. She is working on triple axel, which is pretty much there. And she was also doing quad sows on practice. So she is looking at building that arsenal of amazingness that she has.
I can't wait. She could do a quad lutz. Her knees and ankles are pretty open on that quad, so there's on that triple lutz, so there's space. But thank you, Kaetlyn. Yet again, it is 3 weeks till the Olympics, give or take, like 24 days. I am getting so very excited. As you can see, I'm in the mountains now. But I can't wait. The Olympic vibe. Can you feel it?
100%. This is great.
All right, that is it from Kaetlyn and I. Let us know your favorite moments of Canadian Nationals, and we will see you in Milano.